Welcome to another Scientology Outside of the Church podcast, brought to you by the Advanced Org of the Great Plains, ao-gp.org, and the College of Independent Scientology.com. This is season 10, episode 29. I'm here with Quentin Stroud, and this one is titled, What Independent Scientologists Know About Grant Cardone. So where are we headed with this one, Quentin?
Yeah, well, it is interesting because we were just talking earlier, we were just looking at people who are, using Scientology technology, LRH tech to improve their lives, to better their experiences. And of course, I mean, you just can't think about it without knowing a little bit about, Grant Cardone and what he's accomplished with 17 million, I think 17 million followers on just one of his social media platforms. And I'm sure there's more on, like YouTube and things of that nature. But just the idea of how do you go through life using this tech to get a win, a result in such a way. And that's what I want to talk about today. Like how do we 10x the tech? How do
Mm-hmm.
we use this tech and get such results for our lives if that's what you're, focusing on.
Right. And it's also important to note that you can use this tech. You don't have to be in the corporate Church of Scientology with all of the suppression and the financial suppression and the control and all of this. You don't have. You can do what Grant does, but you don't have to be in the church to do it. You can be an independent Scientology, and I think that's the big takeaway from this.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and one thing about because I first discovered Scientology um, when I had a job interview at a mortgage company in Minnesota, and um, well, let me take that back. I had already been inside of a Church of Scientology, but I only that's all I knew. Like I knew how it looked inside. It wasn't until I started working at this mortgage company that the manager brought me back and he pulled out these binders. And he was like, boom, 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 boom. He put like four or five binders on the table. And he was like, listen, I want you to go through some of these. He put a dictionary on the table. And he said, I want you to read these because I think you'll be very good, in this business and in sales and in marketing. And he started like having me read LRH Tech, just sitting there at the table
Hmm.
and clearing my own words. And that was my first real encounter with the tech. And it was, sometime later that I found out that he was, a Scientologist in the whole bit or whatever. But I was independent. Like I wasn't a part of the church. I had been inside one, but I wasn't, on lines or anything of that nature. And that's when I started learning about LRH Tech. And that's when it became very fascinating to me that this material, this study exists. And I didn't know anything about the church until, as far as the inner workings of it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that anybody who has encountered Grant Cardone, who follows Grant Cardone, who knows about Grant Cardone as a Scientologist, they know that he's using Scientology technology to advance his business and to improve his results. And I think with that we should learn a little bit from that.
Yeah, you're using statistics, the data series, your establishment officer series, your organization series, planning series, target series. All of these things are things that Grant has mentioned in his videos on YouTube.
Hmm. Yeah, he actually does. Yeah, and at this point, he's kind of, matter of fact about it. About being a Scientologist or whatever, and using Scientology technology. He's kind of matter of fact about it. But what's interesting, because I think we went to his website, and his website, it really is like you can even see it, right? You can see how he uses this. What would you call it? Uh, the marketing technique. Um,
The come on advertising.
Come on, advertising, right? Come on. You know you want this. Come on.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he's almost remarketing what the church sells already, what we have that you can get from us for free in the management volumes, the technical volumes, the books and everything for free. And we can teach you how to do that, show you, how to set up graphs, find out what your products are, admin scale. He's mentioned that before. You're setting up a program with targets, targeting series. The finance series is another thing, as far as, it is after any financial calamity, it takes 6 months to recover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of these things, what money is an idea backed by confidence, and how money got started was with blacksmiths that got notes
Right.
to hold on to precious metals, and that those notes ended up being what later would become fiat money, cash.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that regardless of who the individual is, right? So whether it's Grant Cardone, whether it's Mickey Mouse, regardless of who the individual is, knowing that one can use this technology um, and make these amazing gains in their life, whatever that looks like for you, I think is really important. And none of this is here to glorify Grant Cardone or whatever, and whatever your feelings are about him personally or whatever is inconsequential.
Hmm.
Because the truth of the matter is, this man went from being a drug addict, right? From being a drug addict to um, finding Scientology in his I think it was late 30s or like late 40s,
Yeah,
40s,
40s. Yeah.
in his 40s. And from there to being broke, disgusted, strung out or whatever, to finding Scientology, getting online, using this technology to improve his self primarily, right? Be do have to improve his beingness, to improve himself, and then taking that to improve his conditions in life. And so I want to talk about some of those things. I mean, and you listed a number of them there, but first and foremost, if you're in a place in your life right now where you cannot, like, you can't see yourself winning, you can't see you're not where you want to be, your finances and then where they want to be, your life is just not what you want it to be right now, right? The first thing I believe is you got to start 10xing the tech,
Hmm.
right? And what is it? What do I mean by 10x? 10x means you set goals that are 10 times higher, 10x, 10 times higher than where you want to fall, right? Where you want to land,
Hmm.
right? So if you want to I got to pull in at least, you know, uh, 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 $50,000 this year. Okay. Well, what's 50,000 times 10? That's 500,000.
Hmm.
Okay. That's the goal you want to set. Right?
Yeah.
And you put it in, and then you dive into the tech of that goal. You dive into the knowingness that's required for you to achieve that goal. 10x the tech. That's why I love this. I love it. And so it's not just about putting out a flyer or putting out. It's not just about to make 10 more calls, whatever. No, it's about diving into the tech. I was just talking to somebody not too long ago, and I talked about how if I had, what was I saying? If you had an hour to chop down a tree, spend the first 45 minutes sharpening the axe,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And so
And that's
you
the
you
tech.
spend the first, yeah, that's the tech. You sharpen your axe and you know how to run it. So that's what I am. Like, how do we 10x this tech?
Yeah, I mean, you have to set a target of what you're looking for, and you have to put it out there. You have to picture it, like he says in the Route to Infinity lectures. You have to put it out there. You have to make a postulate. So,
A postulate as to what though? Like what?
well,
So
you have to
the
make a
person.
decision. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm aiming for. Okay, now how do I get there? Which that brings us to
Hmm.
be to have.
Hmm. Okay, so somebody listening to this right now, and they're feeling, their money is kind of funny, their change is kind of strange. They trying to figure life out. the health might be in a situation or whatever. What I'm hearing you say is the first decision is a decision to know what to do about it, right? That
Mm-hmm.
something can be done about it and what to do about it.
Yeah.
So,
There's a
so
solution.
knowing, right, knowing that there's a solution, fantastic. And so by making the decision that I need this tech, I need to know what this stuff really can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
That then opens up the door to the wonder, the study, the you know, trying to dive into it in order to get what's in there.
Right. Yeah. And you have to you have to be able, Scientology is knowing how to know, but it's also knowing that you don't know. That's part of the student hat, is what don't I know, and is there anything that can help me with that? And the subject of independent Scientology is so deep and wide that there's pretty much something there for every situation, almost every situation. And that's really a poignant concept, because like Grant says here, he says, if you're waiting, hesitating, blaming others, you're not in control. I learned I had to go
Hmm.
cause if I wanted to win. So being a cause is, to be a cause, you have to have the tool to do it, or tools to do it. He wasn't
Yeah.
he wasn't being a victim and saying, all these things happened to me, woe is me, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
I have to take responsibility for this, and I caused this. And again, you learn this from both reading and applying the tech, and from auditing. And auditing outside of the church is much cheaper and can be done in your own home. You don't have to
Yeah.
go, you don't have to go into a quote unquote church to do it or anything. You can do it over Zoom with us, and we
Hmm.
can control the meter from where you're at and take you in session. So
Hmm.
auditing helps remove the charge that keeps people stuck at effect. So that's why it's important to understand that we do something that the church doesn't. You have to go to them. Whereas with
Yeah.
us, we come to you over
Yeah.
over the
And,
internet.
and that's the part that I loved about it, because you know, I loved when it was time for our auditing sessions to be able to get up after having eaten some food, because to make sure I'm well fed, well rested. Get up, eat some food, go sit in my computer, because I have like a big monitor, like a 32-inch monitor, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sit at my computer and to see your face pop up on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, "Hey, you ready? Let's get started." Know, and squeeze the gas, please. And you go through the process, and right there, I'm in session. You know,
Right.
this is a session.
In your
Is this a session for
PJs.
you? Right in my PJs. Correct. Correct.
So
And it's something so simple, yet the fact that it's available to me and it's making these profound impacts. That's what really, like, that's why I love this conversations that we have. Right. That's why I
mhm.
decided to come on and start doing this podcast, because I wanted other people to get the same wins and know that it's possible. So yeah. So when Grant said, becoming going cause instead of being at effect to your past, to what you've been through, to your current situation, right? Like how do I do this? Not being effect to that, but becoming cause over it and finding that thing or creating that experience that you really want. And
Yeah.
this is for people who are reaching for the tech. This is for people who want to know more. This is for people who want to go free. This is for people who want to get clear. This is for people who want to go to the OT levels and the whatnot. Like, this is for people who want that. There is a way to do it, and that's why independent Scientology has opened up that door. It allows you to start to do that, and that's what feels really good.
Right. And he's a case study in how you can, in modern media terms, how you can do that, but you can do it without having to be subjected to the corporate church. And that's
Hmm.
that's that's very, very key, because it's a big part of what he does. Like he says, he talks about the conditions formulas, and you've got non-existence to power, and below non-existence all the way down to confusion. He's constantly talking about this in his business strategy. He talks about applying formulas to get out of debt, how to scale your business, how to repair failing areas by applying a condition, and those same conditions like danger, non-existence, danger, emergency, affluence, power, and then there's affluence attainment as well, which is really important.
Mhm.
That gets missed, and then power and power change. And he says, I use these formulas in every business deal I do. It's not motivation, it's tech. It's just tech. It's like, this is the tool that you use to do this particular thing in whatever it is that you're doing in business. And that's why he's been so successful. And we can give this information to you and walk you through it. We have our AI that can help you get through it too as
Mhm.
well. And you can ask it to give me an example of how this would be. How could I do this? This is my situation. How could I apply a condition to this situation? And the AI can help you with it along with us.
Yeah. Well, I think, and onto like with the principles that I think that Grant has really used, um, this whole idea of like, and I'm gonna say a word, I don't want nobody to get triggered, but the whole idea of ethics tech, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
you
what
were
this
just,
is.
well, you were just talking about the conditions, right? And that understanding that putting in your own personal ethics. Um, I was just helping someone recently run a danger condition formula, right? And putting in your own personal ethics and getting things sorted and getting things straight, like getting things figured out for yourself. Put that in on yourself so you're not, continually going down the spiral, going down the chute,
Mm-hmm.
as Elliot says it. And so using ethics tech, in my opinion, has really changed my life. And I use it for everything. I use it in my relationship. I use it in my home. I use it in my business. I use it on my body. I use ethics tech really, really well. And it works. Believe it or not, it really works. And so when Grant talks about using the ethics tech and integrity and things of that nature to make sure that you're able to get the gains and get this, you're able to get the gains and the gains stick. In other words, you're not roller coastering.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're stable. That's the important thing, is you're stable.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you get the gains stick, you're stable in that space, and you continue going up and up and up from there. That is done, really is done with ethics tech. And having your integrity in. We talked a little bit, I think, in the last podcast. If you guys go back and listen to the last podcast about writing up your overs and withholds, all that stuff. All of these things are there. All of these things are there, and you're not going to hold yourself back anymore. You're not going to sabotage. You don't have to procrastinate. You don't have to, wait for the shooter drop or whatever people say. Like, none of that has to be the case when you know what you're doing.
Right. And when you know what you're doing, when you have something to back yourself up on, as far as the ethics tech, and holding your position, knowing who you are in the first dynamic, what you stand for, your own code of honor. That's something he talks about. Uh, Super important. We've done podcasts on the code of honor too,
Yes.
and this is all stuff that's out there for free that you can listen to on the podcast, almost 150 podcasts, which is all Grant Cardone information, that he's using in his life every day, and you don't have to pay a dime, So that brings us to reframing Scientology outside of the church. To address the elephant in the room, you don't need to be part of the church to benefit from what Grant used. You don't need labels, organizations, or control. That's what independent
Right.
Scientology is about. We use the same tech, same L. Ron Hubbard tech here at AOGP and the College of Independent Scientology, uh, in our online course room. And you don't have the arbitrary barriers of the manipulation that you do from the church. So you're actually going to be able to speed yourself up with lower costs, less time, a lot more affinity, a lot more transparency, You're not going to be getting phone calls all the time of people coming to your door, all that stuff. You completely
Or
have,
mail, the mail.
or the mail that you get, with all the magazines and all that stuff that you're paying for, in your services, and
Mhm.
it's auditing and training are available to everyone, including you, and it's a lot
Yeah,
cheaper, and it's freely accessible and downloadable. I mean, it's amazing what we do and they don't,
yeah.
and it's free.
Yeah, it's all there for you. And what I love about what ALGP has pulled together is this flow of it flows differently to me. I remember when online at the corporate church, I remember feeling very moved around like a piece on a board kind of thing. And it's not to say like I didn't get why that was. Like I get the understanding of why things were done a certain way. But it felt like I was being moved around like a piece on a board versus I was able to make moves. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
Hmm.
And so I would say that since my connection with ALGP and starting lines with ALGP, I don't feel like I'm being moved around like a piece on a board. I feel like I'm in control of my case game.
Hmm.
I'm in control of my process, and I bring you. In fact, I have to like set the appointments and stuff like that. Like I bring you in and say, okay, these are the times that I want to work on myself, do my thing. I got something going on with school, something going on with da da da, like all this stuff, the stuff that might come up in life. But I get to set the tone for that. Now, as an auditor and with through case supervision and all that stuff like this, things are laid out for me in a certain way, and I got to get through it. Sure, and having that level of accountability is there, but I don't feel like I'm being moved around like a puzzle piece or a chess piece, and that's what makes me feel really good about my time with ALGP.
Yeah, instead of, when are you going to be on course? When are you going to be on course? When are you going to be on course? I need a
Hmm.
schedule. I need a schedule. I need a schedule. You set your own schedule, both for
Yeah.
auditing and training, and so you can be at cause over it all the time, and there isn't somebody pestering you about it.
Well, it's so interesting because when you're in the church, when you're in that space, it's like yeah, there's a thing called body routing, like body routing.
Yeah.
And you take the body here, you take the body there, blah 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 blah. And I think because that's not there, right? That the whole idea of body routing, that's not there. I don't feel like that. It's more like being routing. I like that. It's more like being routing. Like you're connected with this these other being, this organization and the people who work here. You're connected with the being, and we're just helping you move your being. Like, okay, well, let's do this. Now it's time for that, and it's moving very differently than body routing. I get that.
Yeah, because you're self-determined. You're
Yes.
self-determined. I mean, Grant has handlers in the church and everything that push him in certain directions, and I'm sure that he has to get approval on things that he puts out there and everything like that, and they say, look, you need to say it this way, don't say it that way, that type of a thing. But you don't have to have that sort of a thing. You have the information, you use it. It's the information isn't being controlled, and you're not putting out some party line
Right.
that you have in the church. It's you can be yourself, and you can express yourself, and with auditing, you can go out and you can boom a business in extremely short time, and
Yes.
training at the same time. It doesn't take a long time, and that's the thing that he tries to get across, is you can do this a lot faster than you think, and that's because of this tech, and
Right.
you can be the authority over your own success at your own pace and at your own rate. And as you get more auditing, and you continue going through the levels of auditing, you're going to see these things pick up a lot faster. There's a lot shorter communication lag between what you decide and what you see happen. almost
Yeah.
it almost is frightening how quickly it can happen.
It's actually quite beautiful because as I'm even thinking about it now, you don't have the same present time problems that show up when you're in your home and like you set your home up and you set your space up and you set your life up for auditing, like for session. Like, okay, I know I got to go in session today, right? You set things up. You prepare your food the night. This is what I did. Prepare your food the night before, or whatever. Make sure you can eat. Make sure you go to bed on time. Maybe take some, CalMag so you can get some rest, and take some vitamin B. Do your thing. And when it's time for session, you close the door. You sit in front of your computer or laptop, and you start. And it's really that simple. And you get the wins. I was cracking up laughing, crying, and all the kind of stuff that you have in this session. And all right, in the session. I'm like, thank you. And then we would just say, okay, talk to you later. And that was it. And I'm back to my day. I'm back
Mhm.
to my life. It was such a beautiful flow. And, you know, let's see, I think I paid for my entire bridge package in October, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like October.
Yeah.
And by June, I was clear and catch this, and made my money back, all of it, in that time period.
Isn't that
Kid
something?
you not. And so it wasn't a loss, or it wasn't something that going out. And I didn't look at it as something going out. I really looked at it more as, I say all the time, my money makes me money. And so I looked at it like it comes back to me with friends. The money goes out. It comes back to me with friends. Every dollar I spend, right? And so that's been my lived experience, and that's what I believe is such a great thing that's available right now. So let's get it.
Yeah. It doesn't take long at all. The ROI is incredible.
Mhm.
It really is.
Yeah.
So that brings us to how can you be like Grant Cardone? I mean, we've got over 200 success stories on our website that you can check out with all of our services, both training and auditing, and you can see that the successes are exactly the same thing that Grant has seen in his life.
Yeah.
There's career revival, relationship repair, uh, more emotional stability, and expansion of beingness. Your people have had their personal purposes reignited with L11 and L
Mhm.
and L10 and L12. They get so much from it that they, all they want to do is just go out and knock it out of the park.
Listen, do the L's. Do the L's. I'm telling you now. Yes, absolutely for that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it just turns you into this powerful being in extremely short order. You know what I'm talking about, and
100%.
and it really changes your life almost
Yeah,
overnight. So Grant had auditing, and you can too. You just need to take that first step,
I
and
love
you
it.
and you don't have to do it in the church. You can do it with us. So you can go to our website. You can leave a message on our Fin AI, and we'll get back to you, and we'll do a personal Zoom call with you, and you can go over what you've seen that Grant's done. How can I get I'll have what he's having type of a thing. Okay, and we can explain it to you, and what would the best things be for you depending on what your situation is, and give you a tailor-made program for it. And it's something that you can start that day online,
Hmm.
and we can get you in session within a couple of days. If you want to get auditing, it doesn't take a very long time. We can get a theta meter sent to you and
Hmm.
get you in session, get an interview, get a program for you, and get you going and address the things in life that are holding you back. All you have to do is get on the little AI button down in the bottom right hand corner on ao-gp.org, and we'll get back to you within probably 12 hours or less, sometimes quicker, but not longer, and get started. And you can even come down here to our retreat in South Africa, or you can do it online. And you can get personal service here. It's beautiful this time of year here. right by the ocean breeze. There's all kinds of nature around here, lots of trees, safe neighborhood. Um,
Yes.
we've got a church right across the street that goes off with the bells on Wednesdays and Sundays, and it's a really nice atmosphere. It's very peaceful, and
Yeah.
we've got our own course room, 20-seat course room, where you can do your practical drills, where you can uh, do your theory study. You can go for really nice walks and do locationals and things like that, and do your drills for your courses and stuff through the nicest neighborhood in town. And we're ready to help you, and without all of the high pressure that you get in the church. So
Right.
you can book us at ao.gp.org, ao-gp.org. And if you're tired of being stuck, overwhelmed, or just unsure where to start, you don't need to figure it out alone. We've got the tools and they work. So let's get you on your next step together so that you can do the same thing that Grant has done in short order.
Yeah. And all of this, I think, is um, a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. A fraction, a mere fraction.
A mere fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time. And what's interesting is, and this is just my, again, observation, is that none of this has to be, you don't have to be effect. Like you don't feel like you're at effect to any of the stuff that's happening or stuff that has to happen, right? You're not you're not feeling like this is controlling me. You're feeling like you're in control of your spiritual progress, and that feels really good to me. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. You're not being pushed through. You're just being gently guided, and it's at your own pace. And that's the most important thing is you don't feel like you're a cog in the wheel. You're self-determined. And that's what it's all about, is being self-determined, always being self-determined. And if it isn't independent Scientology, it isn't. Let me say that again. If it's fun, Scientology is fun. So that's independent Scientology is fun. And that's the
Yeah,
thing is it's a fun thing to do. It's not work. You're like, geez, I never thought of that before. Wow, this is great. Gosh, I had no idea that I was doing this. And it's really a lot of fun. It makes you smile.
right.
You feel bigger as a
1,000%.
being. You have a lot more havingness, a lot more space in short order. And you can do some of this stuff in minutes and feel ways that you may have never ever felt before. So get in touch with us, learn how to be Grant Cardone and do what he does without all of the pressure and the tactics and everything, and do it at a fraction of the price, and be successful in life. You've seen what this guy can do. You can do the same thing.
Hmm. Let me ask you a question. We talked last podcast about the barriers, right? The barriers that stop a person from going up the bridge. What, in this case, why do you think most people hold themselves back? Um, is it fear? I don't know. I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, right? Is it fear? Is it judgment? Is it
I'll be honest with you. They don't know what they're capable of.
mm,
They're afraid of being successful, but they don't know how to get there. And that's what the tech does, is it gives you the roadmaps. It gives you the highway. All you have to do is travel it.
hmm
It gives you the GPS to get to your destination. All you have to do is have the gas. You have to start. And showing up is 75% of the battle. Just show up.
right?
Just show up. That's all you've got to
Whew.
do. It will do the rest. And it's not this daunting thing. I don't know about this. I don't know how to do this. Da 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 da. No, it's all there. This guy was a ridiculous genius and is presenting things that don't exist anywhere else on this planet.
That's
Anywhere
right.
else on this planet, where you've got information to guide you through down the highway, tell you where these potholes are, where there's road closures, or it's down to one lane, and you know ahead of time, and you can take a different route than you would have taken because you've gotten yourself into such a pattern that you self sabotage. This is what people do, is they self sabotage because they they've got things holding them down in their reactive mind that prevent them from doing what it is that they need to do, and they know it's there, but they don't know how to stop it. This is what Scientology, independent Scientology, does, is it removes those barriers that are stopping you from expanding your space, your control, your ability to put things there that you want, whether there's something there or not. What's that worth
Right.
to you? What's that worth to you? Grant saw this and he uses it. And he's a a huge success story using this technology. And I know it sounds like magic. It is. It is magic. But that's the thing is if you don't understand the technology, it looks like magic. Think about if somebody saw a cell phone in the 70s, they'd think that's magic. How in the world can we have that? I mean, it goes beyond what they were using as tricorders in
Yeah.
Star Trek, and all that stuff. Now we're beyond what they had. I mean, the only thing we're missing is the holodeck, and we almost have that technology. I mean, the things that are happening, in Earth technology, still, still
Mm-hmm.
pale in comparison to the technology in independent Scientology. This guy was 100 to 200 years ahead of his time, maybe even
100%.
maybe even more. And this is the technology that Grant Cardone uses, and it's here. It's a fraction of the cost. In some cases it's free. You can take the books and you can read them yourselves. Uh, I
Lectures.
I lectures. We've got 4,600 of his lectures on SoundCloud that you can listen to for free. I mean, it's un how do I put it? It's unprecedented
Yeah.
how much information is that we've put here with AOGP over the last 13 years, that we've put out there in a place that you can get it for free. Just the lectures themselves would be well over $10,000 for you to buy, and you
Mm.
didn't have access to those. Well over.
Yeah, the ACCs, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
the technical
I
volumes,
remember those conversations.
yeah, the admin, and people come up to me all the time and they say this is incredible. How many times have we heard that just in the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks?
Yes, I'm telling you, I remember those conversations about purchasing your ACCs and purchasing your lectures and purchasing your content and purchase and purchase. And I'm like, I get it. I get what you're doing. I listen. You can't knock nobody's hustle. And at the same time, like there has to be a better way. There has to be.
Right. And it's all right here. You don't have to buy all this stuff. Just the books and the lectures alone will cost you $20,000. Let me say that
Yeah.
again. $20,000. We've got them for free that you can listen to. This is the stuff that
Right.
Grant uses. I mean,
Original,
yeah,
original LRH.
original stuff. And that's
Right.
that's that's the thing is that you should all we are basically librarians saying we're going to give you a course on this. Have you seen this book? Okay, we've got a check sheet that you can do, and it gives you these gradient steps, baby steps on how to do something.
Get through it.
It's not 75%. You've got it 100%. You got it 100%. You got it 100%. Now you know how to do this. You got it 100%. You got it 100%. Now you know how to build off of what you just learned to do, and now you can do this. I mean, look at what you've been learning on your solo course since you've been here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, and you didn't know this stuff, and now you know how to do this. You know what the reads on a meter are. You know how to do
Yeah.
can squeezes to set your sensitivity on a meter. You sat there and you watched the video and you learned all of those reads in what
Yeah.
maybe an hour and a half watching our
Right.
e-meter reads drill from, and you're taking this information and you're going into the OT levels, and you're teaching yourself how to solo audit, how you can get up the bridge yourself doing these courses in independent Scientology. And you know how to do this stuff. And just 2 weeks ago, you didn't know any of this. Any of this.
Yes.
Every day you learned more than you did the day before. And you know you've got it. You know
Right.
you've got it. That's the power of which Grant Cardone has. It's that easy.
Mhm.
It's
and
crazy.
using it. And that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. Technology is only as good as you use it.
That's
And
right.
so if you have a computer that has the highest, terabytes of da 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 and gigaquads of such and such, and it just sits there, you never turn it on, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So the technology that's available to you, you just got to use it, got to turn it on. Now, let me just say this, because I was in on course maybe like a week ago, maybe 6 days ago, and there was one datum that blew my mind. And it was just one thing. It was like a little piece of a line or two in one of the on one of the course packs, and I was like, "Wait, is that how this works? Wait, that's the best time to do this? That's the best way to do this? What?" And I literally, I talked to you, Jonathan. I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that this was the case. Like this is a thing." Sometimes you just need that one eye-opening insight. That's all you need. And that one eye opening insight can open up your case, can open up your awareness, can launch you to the moon with just one. And
Hmm.
so when you're in session or when you're on course or whatever, and you're getting these materials, you're listening to the lectures, you're going like you're just looking for that one thing. Don't think I have to. It's so much data. It's so much stuff to learn. Yeah, I get that part. But when you get that one insight, that one piece of information, that one datum that can say, "Oh shoot, you off to the races." So that's what it felt like for me, and I know that it could be a big chunk of the apple to try to bite it and try to swallow it all in one chunk. You don't do it that way. You're just
No.
looking for one insight.
Yeah. One little step at a time. And you put all these things together, and then you can go out into the world that night and you can start applying them. And that's how
Yeah.
Grant Cardone did what he did as quickly as he did at the age that he was.
Hmm.
Crazy. Just crazy stuff.
Within what was like within 20 years, become a multi self-made millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a long time at all. It's amazing how quickly things can happen. But here's the important point. I think the most important point. He had to come up with a tremendous amount of money to get up the corporate Church of Scientology's
Hmm.
bridge. Okay, and that took time. That's why it took him as long as it did.
Hmm.
He had to come up with
Yeah.
that money. Whereas with us, you get it for a fraction of the cost. So what he did in 20 years, you might be able to do in 5, because
Yep.
you don't have to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this stuff. And that's the most important point, is that the cost is so much cheaper. The the
Right.
the the hardest part is to figure out how do I get it quick enough in my day.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When dealing with the corporate church, I honestly never believed that I was going to hit the OT levels. Like I honestly like I just didn't see how. Maybe that's what it is. I didn't see how I could do that. And it wasn't until, talking to you and you like you can reach for this level of experience and just take care of your entire bridge package. Just take care of the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, mm, I had to like fight my own disbelief, so to speak. Like, wait, I could do this? And once I did it, and there was like no turning back, it was like, okay. And then, like I said, within what, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, within 9 months, everything came back and then some. And now I'm just in profit.
Yeah. And we have
So,
bridge packages where you can get your entire bridge right now for half of what we normally charge for it, which is a fraction, and I mean a small fraction of what the church charges for your entire bridge. I mean,
amazing.
and you can do it in an installment or a couple of installments if you have to, but you get
Mhm.
more if you pay it up
Yeah,
front.
I had to do installments. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get more if you pay up front. We add things on for you if you pay up front, and we'll get you in session 5 days a week, 5 days a week, and you'll be
Yeah.
seeing instantaneous changes in your life within a matter of a few days to a week.
Mhm.
We've got 3 auditors here. that can take you in session pretty much. And you know, we have the benefit of being ahead of US time and a little bit of Europe. We can get you in session pretty much any time of day, and you can go in session 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and it's that simple. You just have to start, and you can do it for a fraction of the cost. So I hope this has been enlightening for everybody, and we're glad that you got to the end of this podcast. Reach out to us on our Fin AI in the bottom right-hand corner, as I mentioned earlier, the little blue icon. Send us a message, and we'll get in touch with you. Give us your email address, your phone number, and we'll make you the next Grant Cardone. Namaste, and we love you. Bye-bye.
Peace.